Hello, all. So I just saw I Spit on Your Grave Part 3 Vengeance is Mine. If you saw my Cake Fest review on the remake of I Spit on Your Grave, you'll know that I loved that movie. Simply loved it. And I guess I should also mention what happened to Cake Fest. I just didn't have enough views for it, and to do it justice, it took me a lot more time and a lot more effort. So if I get more people that like it, I'll try really hard to do it good, but I'm a really busy guy, so I didn't have the time for it. But anyways, if you did see my review on the remake of I Spit on Your Grave, you'll know that I actually really liked that movie. I thought it was very smart. I thought it showed that the filmmakers were trying to say something really smart and creative and powerful, and I loved the film for it. So I was really anxious to see Part 3 because the Part 2 had come out of 4 of I Spit on Your Grave, and it did not pick up where the last one left off. It had a whole new cast and pretty much just redid the plot from the remake all over again, only not nearly as well. It kind of half-butted it, and I thought it was kind of a waste of time. So when it was announced that Part 3 would be made, but this one would actually pick up from where the last one was left off, where the remake left off, and would actually have the characters progress, I thought that sounded awesome. I thought that sounded great, and I wanted to see that. Because I do think everybody needs proper representation, and rape survivors get a hard enough shaft as it is, I should say. So to see a movie with characters that's been through that, maybe deal with post-traumatic stress disorder, and see how they get on in life and see them grow and evolve, seems like a good idea. Because, everybody deserves proper representation, and they got bad enough as it is. They don't need bad movies showing them off in bad ways. Anyways, it sounded like a good idea. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the story continue and see where it went. So I tracked down I Spit on Your Grave Part 3, and I watched it. And the movie has a great opening. Jennifer from the original, after being attacked, and spoilers, there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this review. Lots of spoilers. But after being attacked and killing off her attackers, she has joined a rape survivor group and has come to talk to other rape survivors. She instantly becomes friends with a character called Marla. Marla is like Jennifer turned up to 11. She really wants to get revenge on the people that she feels has wronged her. She really wants to take justice into her own hands, and she's really into a whole power trip over it. She's very snappy, very outgoing, very quick-witted, and Jennifer is kind of a pulled-back character. She's almost like a straight man. So they play off of each other very well. Marla's happy go-getter. Jennifer's very straight and unpulled back. One's outgoing, one's introverted. So they play off each other very well. And they decide to go on a campaign and attack whoever they see as a potential rapist scumbag, and they run around town smacking people's heads over with their crowbar, saying, "If you mess up one more time, we'll kill you." And right there, that's awesome. That's basically the Punisher. That's basically Batman. That's basically a Superman movie, a superhero movie, but with a rape revenge backbone to it. And that's something I hadn't seen before. And that's the first 40 minutes of this movie. These two characters becoming friends, joking around, and then going around town beating up on dickheads. And that's awesome. I loved it. I was like, oh, I want to see more of this. I want to see these people drive around town, beat up on scumbags, and put them in their place like Batman and Robin, only they're in a really hardcore R-rated horror movie. This is awesome. Kick some butt, you girls. The opening was awesome. I love the opening. And then Marla died. She dies. She dies off screen. You don't see it happen. She's just dead, completely written out of the movie. And then Jennifer goes out on her own to get revenge. So what happens is the opening had this extremely unique concept for a horror film. Two friends go out for vengeance and they play it like superheroes, but yet it's very brutal and very hardcore, and it has a rape revenge backbone. That's a unique movie, and it had this original premise. Then Marla dies, she's dead, so it becomes a standard revenge film. It de-evolves and takes a step backwards, and because Marla's now dead, it's all about Jennifer seeking revenge, so it's basically the first film, well, the remake, over again. And once again, not done nearly as well. So I had a really original concept, and then it scrapped it to do what had already been done. It killed off the interesting dynamic between the two characters, and then we got the same revenge film we already had like 3 times now. So yeah, it just kind of devolved into a movie that I had already seen and wasn't done nearly as well. And that wasn't the only problem with the movie, though that's a big one. Like, the movie I wanted to see was there, but only for 40 minutes, and then he scrapped it, and that sucked. No, there's other problems with the movie, glaring problems. Whereas with the remake, it was a little bit obvious that the filmmakers didn't do their research on rape survivors and how to treat the subject matter. This one is very obvious that they didn't do their research and they don't know what they're talking about, to the point where you could easily argue that's offensive. Jennifer, throughout the film, it doesn't happen once, it happens like at least 20 times. She goes on this speech about how rape survivors should know kung fu and should train up to kick butt, and if they don't, they're weak, and they have what's coming to them. She calls them weak. She calls them pathetic if they don't defend themselves, if they don't learn how to fight back. Okay. You never ever say something like that. You just don't do it. That's a horrible thing to say. Because when somebody's been horribly attacked in such a brutal manner, there are these dicks that go up to those people and say, you shouldn't have worn a short skirt. You shouldn't have looked sexy. You had it coming. Men can't control themselves. See, this is putting blame on the victim. This is saying it's their own fault they got attacked. You don't blame them. You blame the guy that attacked them. That's who you blame. You don't blame them. You blame the dick that did that to them, and you try to get that dick in jail, or you try to get that dick like in trouble of some kind. You do not blame the victim. But some guys go up to victims and they say, you dressed in a short skirt, you had it coming. Well, in this film, Jennifer's doing the same thing. She's saying, you didn't learn karate, you had it coming. You didn't defend yourself right, you had it coming. It's the same concept, only slightly changed dialogue. She states that people who are abused are too weak to fight back, so they have it coming. Those are practically her words. And she says it throughout the film. When Marla dies, when she is cut out of the film, Jennifer's response is, I had no idea she was so weak. I'm sorry, but that's just an extremely cruel thing to say. This is blaming rape survivors for what happened to them to an extent. It's not saying they look sexy so they had it coming, but it is saying they weren't smart enough to defend themselves so they had it coming. And that's a horrible statement. And the fact that our main character, the character we're supposed to be relating to, is stating it is really bad. Now, I have nothing against problematic characters, but the fact that nobody puts Jennifer in her place for that type of dialogue, not once, is problematic. Not only that, there's a scene of a cop getting mad at rape survivors for not going to police. I can tell you why rape survivors don't go to the police, because the police suck a lot of the time. That's why they don't go to the police. But no, this cop says, they should go to the police, those stupid, stupid people. And Jennifer is there, nodding her head off, and she doesn't even slap him, or smack him, or tell him to shut the F up, or do anything. She just nods. You can't do that in a movie. Now, don't even have a reason to be upset. I'm not personally affected by this, but if I'm this ticked off, and then people who actually know more about what they're talking about, I barely know what I'm talking about. People who actually know what they're talking about are going to be a lot more ticked off about this kind of stuff, and a lot more rightfully so. But there's just those little things. Oh, and P.S., the movie never calls rape survivors. It calls them rape victims. If you've, talked to talk and met up in those groups, the terminology right now is rape survivor. So once again, it blatantly shows off that the writer, the director, the people involved in this movie, they didn't know what they were talking about, and they didn't really care. And it got really annoying by the end. I got to the point where I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. What also annoyed me is, as I explained in my I Spit on Your Grave review, the original was nice and gray. Well, the remake was nice and gray. You didn't know who to side with. It was unclear who was in the right and who was wrong. This movie sides against Jennifer. It says she's in the wrong, because it adds several scenes where she fantasizes about killing people that these people barely did anything wrong. So she fantasizes about somebody because they slightly ticked her off. She fantasizes about killing them. And all they did was bump into her or something small like that. And she fantasizes about gutting them. These scenes are put in specifically to make Jennifer a blatant villain. And this is a horrible move. Yes, I realize it's bad form to make a movie that says vengeance is right. We should totally root for a vigilante. But it's also a really bad move to make a movie that says rape survivors are potential serial killers and they're horrible people and stay away from them because they're dangerous. And by making her a blatant villain, the movie is indirectly saying this. It has her dream and fantasize about killing innocent people. It has an innocent man commit suicide because of her actions. And she sees this right in front of her. She sees this guy kill himself because of her right in front of her, and she has no response. She doesn't feel grief. She doesn't feel upset. This guy did nothing wrong. He kills himself. She has no response, and she goes on more of a vengeance spree. That's how you make a villain. An uncaring, unsympathetic, horrible character. And that's not what Jennifer's supposed to be. She's supposed to be an unclear character that you're not sure what you would do if you were in the same situation. She is not a villain. She is a, I wish I was never there. I wish I never had to make that choice character. She's not a bad guy. She's not supposed to be a bad guy. And I hate that fact that this movie decided to call her a bad guy and draw that line. And it just shows off the fact that these filmmakers don't care. But that shouldn't surprise me too much. It's a sequel and an obvious cash grab, so of course they're not going to care. So I can't complain too much. But it still makes for a horrible movie. The pros are, it's got a lot of gore, and there's no actual rape scene, so if that stuff makes you uncomfortable, hey, it's not in this movie. And of course it's well directed and well made and well acted and all that cheese. So it's not completely horrible, but the little things that show off the fact that these guys did no research is really annoying. It's hard to get past, and I didn't like it at all. So I would say skip it and don't waste your time. Watch it only if you're really curious. Like I said, it has a lot of good gore and it's well acted and well made, but I'd say not bother. But those are just my thoughts, and sorry for the rant, but it ticked me off. But if you saw it, tell me what you thought. Cheers and bye.